Hello everyone, this is Dwight Austin Jr., credit expert with Credit Come Up, and I'm in the studio today with the king of credit.
Hi everyone, I'm Christopher Cooper. People need to know some basic things, and I hate to call them basic because everybody doesn't know them, so it's not that basic, but how to read and understand a credit report.
Very important. This is the ground floor. If you want your credit fixed, you want negative things deleted off, you want to be approved for things, you need to understand how your credit report works and how the credit system works. So, very important.
In order for you to effectively manage your score, you need to understand what's actually affecting your score. So, how to read and understand your credit report, this is the basis of everything. So we want to get you that information. We want you to learn these things because it's going to help you.
We want to go ahead and go through the credit report with you. So we're going to teach you how to understand and read your credit report. There's 6 sections to your credit report. We want to start out with the personal profile. I feel like this is the beginning to you applying for credit. All things credit is going to start with your personal profile. And in the personal profile, it's things like your first name, middle name, last name, your current address, also your previous addresses. Your date of birth goes here. The social security number is not going to be shown on some credit reports, but your social, date of birth, all of your personal information, it's in this personal profile. On the credit reports you pull online as a consumer, it may not all show, but believe me, the credit bureaus have all this data there. Also, your employer, your employer history goes there as well.
Every time someone that works at wherever you're applying for credit, they misspell your name, that different name variation goes on there. Every address is different from your address, how it should be spelled. It goes in your credit report. Different jobs, like when your date of birth is wrong. I've seen people's names spelled 15 different ways on one credit report. And the credit bureau keeps all that information. So this personal information, your personal profile section is very important, and it can make you look unstable. It could look very negative on your credit report, and it could hinder you being approved for certain things. So we want to definitely clean that up. You need to understand that it's very important how you fill things out when you want to apply for credit, for it to be legible so they can understand it and they can make less mistakes and better for you in the long run.
So just to overview, the personal profile, this is your personal information. Your name, your address history, your employment history, date of birth. So we want to make sure everything is correct in there. Keep in mind, we want to have one address on file because it makes you look more stable. And we want to make sure all the information in this section is correct. The next section of the credit report is the credit summary. In the credit summary, there's different categories.
In the credit summary, you're going to have real estate. You're going to have installment loans. You're going to have credit cards. You're going to have collections, and you're going to have inquiries. Okay, that's going to be pretty much the sum of what's in your credit summary. It's going to list how many you have of each, and basically it gives you an idea of how many inquiries you have, how many real estate accounts you have, how many credit cards you have, how many installment loan accounts you have. So these things are very important to kind of give you an understanding of your credit makeup.
Also, what they do is they add up all the credit that you've been lended, and they have your total credit high listed there. And they also add up all the debt that you owe on all of these accounts, and they have your total debt. So that's the credit summary section of the credit report. The next section of the credit report is the account history section. And this section goes into detail. It's going to go through and list the account name of each account on your credit report, the account number. It's going to show your 2-year payment history on there as well. It'll have little notes on the account, letting banks and companies know if you're paying it on time each month, or if you've been late. If I have a 30-day late payment, if it's late, or however many months you've been late. If the account is negative and it's charged off, they'll have a note that shows charged off or in collection. So this is the detail section of your credit report. So when you're going through your credit report and you're looking at the account history section, you're looking for the company name, you're looking at the account number, you're also looking at the status. It's going to let you know if it's positive or negative. And then you want to take a look at your 2-year payment history. It's going to let you know how you paid over the last 2 years. Okay? So each account will have the information.
And remember, with your payment history that's shown, it's going to show you 2 years, but payment history affects you for up to 36 months, okay? So keep that in mind. A negative payment, if you have on there, even if you're not showing in those 2 years, if you have one in the last 36 months, it still is affecting your credit score. So it's very important for you to remember that as well.
The next section that we want to discuss is the credit inquiries. It is a section all to itself. Anytime you apply for credit, they're going to show the inquiry there. It's going to list the company name, the date they pull your credit, and they're going to list what type of company or what type of credit pull it was. Sometimes companies pull one credit report from one bureau. Sometimes companies can pull all 3 credit bureaus, and it'll list it in the credit inquiry section. There are 2 types of inquiries. There's a hard inquiry. Anytime you're applying for credit to see if you're going to be approved for credit, that's a hard inquiry, and it brings your score down. The second type of inquiry is a soft inquiry. Anytime a utility company pulls your credit or insurance company pulls it, it's a soft inquiry. It's not going to affect your credit scores.
Also, for promotional products or companies do a back pull, and a back pull basically it allows them to pull a credit score of a second bureau without pulling your full credit report. And those many times don't go into your credit report also, but they definitely do those, so you have to understand that as well.
Sometimes they tell you inquiries fall off your credit report within 2 years, but that's not always the case. And sometimes people tell you things will fall off your credit report after 7 years. It's a myth, it's not true. Anything that needs to be deleted off the credit report, in our experience, we've had to go through and delete it all. It doesn't just fall off. So your credit is not going to fix itself, people. Remember that. The next section that we want to talk about is the public record section of the credit report. And this section is important. The public record section of the credit report, especially anything that goes through the court system, they're going to report it in your credit report.
So we have from tax liens, IRS liens, bankruptcy, judgments. So these are the things that are going to be on your credit report, and anything in the public record section is negative.
It's bad. It kills the credit scores.
It really hurts your credit score. So understand that adds a different level of difficulty to actually remove from your credit report. So understand that the public record section is a section that you want to avoid if you can help it, if at all possible. You don't want to get any type of accounts or anything in your public record section.
The next section of the credit report that everyone knows,
Everyone loves,
but don't really understand how it works is the credit score section of the credit report. Chris, I'm gonna let you elaborate on that, man. Bring it on home for us.
the credit score section is the one section that everybody loves to quote. They love to say, hey, my credit score is this, my credit score is that. But they don't understand the actual makeup of the credit score. So we need to understand that there's a breakdown, there's a formula that the credit bureaus use to actually determine what your credit score is. So earlier, what I was telling you in your credit summary, there was a list of all your debts and all of your available credit. So those things they use to determine your credit score is 35% of your credit score. Your debt is if you owe $350 on the $1,000 credit card limit. So the $1,000 is actually your available credit, and the $350 is your debt. Okay, so that makes up 35% of your credit report. So it's a very big chunk, a very huge chunk, and it affects your score a great deal. And that's called your debt to credit high.
Basically, what Chris is saying is 35% of your credit score is you having available credit and then having low debt. Credit inquiries. This can account for, depending on how many inquiries are on your credit report, this can account for, I want to say, 10% of the credit score as well. It plays a part into it. And there are other factors in the credit score. Believe it or not, where you live, your address plays a part in your credit score. Your employment history, how much income you made. It's just a lot that goes into the credit score. But the main things that we can control, your payment history, okay? Your available credit, meaning your debt to credit ratio, and also negative items. They hurt the credit score. So we can control that by deleting negative things off your credit report. But your credit score, they range from 350 all the way up to 850. And they have a new scoring module that goes higher. But I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't seen many banks utilizing the new scoring module. So we are actually sticking with the 350 to 850 because this is what banks are using. So those 6 sections make up your credit report. So make sure you pay attention when you're looking at your credit reports. So you'll understand how to read the 6 section of the credit reports. You'll know a little bit more information on your credit scores. Also, make sure you're watching the videos that we have on the Credit Come Up app. that explain how to increase your credit scores, and also watch the videos on what things to avoid so that you don't drop your credit scores.